It is April Fool's Day. Happy Monday, everybody. And look, I'm not going to crack any April Fool's jokes, but if you have any fun Bears-themed April Fool's jokes you want to throw in the comments, fire away. I'll be reading them. So if you got any good ones coming up, go ahead and throw them in there. We got a busy show, so let's get into it here on Chicago Bears Now. Is Caleb Williams going to be a franchise-altering quarterback for the Bears? We're going to talk about that. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into Bears Now by Chat Sports. A current NFL scout believes that Caleb Williams could be that guy. Here's what he had to say to ESPN Draft analyst Jordan Reid. He said, quote, "He's special, and whoever gets him will have a franchise-altering type of talent." And look, I've been saying it. A lot of experts have said it, and, it's certainly people have opinions, this and that, what Caleb can't do, other quarterbacks in this draft, but he's pretty much the consensus QB1 in this draft, which is a very good quarterback draft. Drake May in most drafts would be a top QB prospect. He would have been last year. Jaden Daniels, with the way he played this year, would have been a number one overall pick in certain drafts. J.J. McCarthy could be in that mix in certain drafts here, like the year Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis came out, he easily would have been the best quarterback in that draft. So for Caleb to have separated himself like this and for people to be like, he's the best prospect since Andrew Luck or at least Trevor Lawrence, I think that does speak volumes. And look, he has everything you want. I think he has what it takes. He's got the physical skill set. He's got the arm talent and strength. I think he's got the mental capacity. I think he's handled all the criticism he's got, which most of it has been completely unfair, very, very well. Like, he's cracking jokes about it with people. He's laughing about it. I think he's got the mentality to have what it takes to be that guy for the Chicago Bears, which is something Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, Poles specifically, talked about extensively before they even traded Justin Fields. We have to know that the person can handle it here in Chicago, can handle the scrutiny. And from what I've seen, I think he really can, and I think the Bears think the same. So I think this dude has what it takes, and I'm excited about the idea of him leading this team for a very, very long time. And speaking of April Fool's Day, more importantly, happy draft month. Subscribe to the channel if you're excited for all of our Bears draft coverage. We'll be live again this afternoon. 4-ish Central Time. I'm running a little behind today. Had some other things going on, so it could be like 4:30. We'll see. More draft coverage then. More draft coverage all month. Other Bears news and rumors, and of course, we'll be live for all 3 days of the NFL Draft as well. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Do not miss out, as it's going to be a busy month here on Chicago Bears Now and around this football team. Adam Schein of NFL.com wrote this about Caleb Williams as well. He said, Caleb Williams isn't just a solid prospect. He's sensational, dreamy. He's the kind of quarterback Bears fans have been waiting on for a lifetime or longer since the days of Sid Luckman, which you have to go back to the 1940s for. As the Texans did for C.J. Stroud last year, he later said, the Bears will be able to give Williams another roster-strengthening impact talent in the first round, and unlike the Texans, they won't have to force the issue. Rather, they can let the draft come to them at number 9 overall. And we've talked about this a lot. Even in the worst-case scenarios of how this draft will fall, even if the top 3 receivers are gone, even if Joe Alt is gone as well, there's still going to be a good player there. There's still going to be either a Dallas Turner, a Jared Verse, or Leatu Latu, Byron Murphy, Taliese Fuaga, who we're going to talk about in a minute, Olu Fashanu. You could still trade down. You can trade up if you want to. Like, the Bears are living right. And Ryan Poles is a big reason for that. Sure, a little bit of luck goes a long way. Got lucky getting the number 1 pick last year with that Texans Hail Mary. Got lucky that Carolina was even worse than we thought this year. But sometimes you create your own luck. And with the moves Ryan Poles made, and really starting with that trade with Carolina last year, it's led you down a good path to being in a position to feel like this, to be to feel excited for the right reasons. Like, when was the last time the Bears were in a better spot on paper moving forward? Even after 2018, like, sure, the heartbreak sucked, but we were very excited going into 2019. But there were still questions like, is Mitch Trubisky that guy? Like, sure, Caleb Williams hasn't played in the NFL yet. So, yeah, that's a legitimate question to an extent. But I would argue the offense is in a far better place with personnel. And the defense, while that defense heading into 19 might have been viewed slightly higher than it is, aging players are starting to age there. That's not the case with this defense right now. So I'm excited. You should be excited. More Caleb talk here in a minute. But first, we do have to tell you about our sponsor, GameTime. Last-minute tickets for the lowest price guaranteed. The Cubs play, depending on when you're watching this, in like an hour. So, hey, you can get tickets still right now, and they probably have some flash deals available because that's what GameTime does. They have daily deals. They have flash sales, especially as you get closer to events. They want to fill those seats, and they want to give you the best price available. And there's nothing worse than trying to get tickets on the day of the event and not having them digitally sent to you in time or having trouble figuring out on X app why you can't get the tickets. With GameTime, it's painless, it's easy, it's stress-free. Go check out the Cubs at Wrigley. If you can't get there today, you got the Rockies still there tomorrow and the next day as well. You still got the Bulls trying to make that playoff push. They're in that play-in tournament range right now. Some games coming down the stretch at the UC. You got the White Sox. Get some really cheap tickets there these days. Go check it out. Get out to the ballpark. Go to your favorite concerts, whatever the place may be, and use our promo code CHATSPORTS, all one word, for you new customers when you download the GameTime app today, which you can search in your app store. There's also a link in the description and comments of this video. Click it. It'll redirect you to the app store, but if you type in GameTime, you're not going to miss it. Big white letter G with the black background. Promo code CHATSPORTS. Get out of your house. Go check out events and get the best price available and get $20 off with promo code CHATSPORTS. All right, J2 O'Sullivan, who I've referenced on the show before, it's been a while, hosts the QB School on YouTube. He's one of my favorite film breakdown guys in the game when it comes to quarterbacks. What I'm about to talk about is not me like hating on JT. I just disagree with him here. He's not on board as much as other people are, like I am, about Caleb Williams being put in a good situation in Chicago. He does not like the idea of the USC quarterback landing with the Bears, not because he's not high on Caleb Williams. He is, but because of the history of the Bears. Here's what he had to say. He hopped on the Bootleg Football show on YouTube with Brett Coleman, EJ Snyder. They do a great job as well. I encourage you to check both those shows out, Bootleg Football and the QB School. Here's what he had to say. Is it the ideal situation for him to go where he's going to go? Absolutely not. The track record is the track record. If I could pick where he could go, that's just not what I would want for him. But is he good enough to make it work there? I think he is. Time will tell. What I would say here is, look, I understand where he's coming from to an extent. I've talked about on the show. The history of this franchise at quarterback is not a pretty picture. But you find a better time that a rookie coming in here was set up better on paper. Is that a guarantee it'll work? Of course not. The QB could not be as good as we thought. The personnel could end up not working out. A million things could still happen. But I truly believe if you remove the name Bears on the jersey of this roster of what a rookie quarterback is walking into, most people, if not all, would say, damn, that team's picking number one overall. That's what a rookie quarterback's walking into with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift and other good backs, and Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson. You got a good tight end, Cole Kmet. Gerald Everett's reliable. An ascending young offensive line, a top 10 defense so you can take the pressure off the rookie. Another top 10 pick and revamped offensive staff built around Shane Waldron as the OC. You got Thomas Brown in the building. Like, I truly think if it said Rams instead of Bears, it'd be like, damn, this team, like, as long as Caleb Williams or whoever they draft is not a disaster, like, that's a pretty QB-friendly situation to walk into. So I encourage you guys, yes, history is important, and it's hard to get over the mental hurdles when you haven't seen a consistent offense other than, blurbs here and there. Jay Cutler had a couple of decent years, et cetera. But I understand and appreciate the history. I get that, especially for you folks who've been watching for 50, 60 years. But there's a good chance it will be different with Caleb Williams. Not even just because of Caleb, who I really believe in as a talent and has the mentality, which we talked about earlier, but because of what he's walking into, because of the job Ryan Poles has done in building this roster, both sides of the football to help him out. I think it will be different. Is it a guarantee? No, I can't sit here and say that. But I can't sit here and say that with any quarterback going to any team. That's kind of my point. it is a bit of a crapshoot with quarterback in the NFL draft. But if you remove the history, this is a very good situation for Caleb Williams to walk into, which is why I'm going to choose to be optimistic until proven otherwise. Will it work with Caleb in Chicago? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think it will. Now, is he going to be a Hall of Famer? That's a big leap to make. But I think he can be a top 10 quarterback in this league. And I think he could be higher. But even if I'm playing it safe, top 10, top 12, that's a good situation for the Bears, man. They have not had that hardly ever in the history of their franchise. So I'm typing my for yes. Let me know what you guys think. Talk a little draft at a different position here. Could the Bears draft Taliese Fuaga? I hopped on Coach T's YouTube channel. Some of you guys have maybe seen him in the chat before. Maybe you saw me join his show. I will tag his channel in the comments and description. Go check him out. He does a great job. He's a former high school football coach. He does a lot of film study, all that stuff. He actually met Fuaga and some of his family, I believe, at the Senior Bowl. But anyway, we started talking about Fuaga on his show. And I kind of just asked, because he's high on him, and I asked him, do you think he can play left tackle? And he said he thinks he can. So if he can, that's intriguing to me because this guy had an unbelievable season at Oregon State. And I think what's unique about him compared to a lot of these offensive line prospects that come out these days, pro-style offense. Jonathan Smith, that offense is pro-style. A lot of under center at Oregon State this past year, and he was very good. Did not allow a sack per PFF. The run blocking was phenomenal. Pass blocking was good as well. He graded out well in zone scheme sets also, which we know the Bears are going to run a lot of that zone, especially in their running game. And look, I've kind of loosely said this before, but with the caveat of I'm not sure the Bears feel he can play left tackle. But if he can, I think he's a better prospect than Olu Fashanu. I thought he played better last year. I'll still give Joe Alt the slight edge there. I thought he was the best offensive tackle in football last year. But Fuaga is powerful and athletic. He compared himself to Darnell Wright, and there's a lot of comparisons there with size and weight and athleticism. They're both in that 330 range, but move like a guy who's 310, which is very valuable to have. Listen, this guy is very intriguing if the Bears think he can play left. If you have question marks about that, I don't know if you can take him at 9 because if you're unsure, then you better think Darnell Wright can play over there. And in college, Wright played much better on the right side than he did at left. So that's something you'd have to work through. But this guy is a really good player. And if the Bears feel like he or Wright could swing over to left, I would be very intrigued by that because if Joe Alt's off the board, he is the next tackle in my opinion. Maybe you could trade down a few spots and get him, but this guy's going to go early. The Jets at 10 could take him, so I would not rule this out of the realm of possibility. I think Fuaga is, I don't want to say slept on because he's going top 12 in most mocks now, top 15, but this is a guy, kind of like Darnell Wright last year, has risen a lot in the pre-draft process, and we know Ryan Poles values offensive line play, no question. Name a player you don't want with the number 9 pick. Maybe you don't want Fuaga. I'd be fine with it, especially if they think he can play left tackle, but name a player you do not want the Bears to take at number 9. If the top 3 receivers are gone, I don't want them to take a receiver at 9. That would be my answer, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And be sure to subscribe. More draft coverage to come. We'll be live here in a few hours on the channel for Bears Now Live. So until then, bear down.